Hello friends and followers, and welcome back to a new project. You probably remember when I was sitting the last time here and starting a video, and it was a canvas collaboration together with the talented graffiti artist EDMUN from Brazil. I will show you some footage of this video, and exactly the same customer Tim asked me right afterwards if it wasn't possible to paint a second canvas. Yeah, and now I have to burn the masterpiece from the last video and I have absolutely no idea what I will be painting. So just let's start building a frame. It will just be a frame made from roof battens, because I will take it down anyways and I will roll it and send it without any frame to Canada. Because I know that I can use these wood battens for the new frame as well, so I will recycle the old frame. Let's save trees together. The new artwork will be 30 centimeters wider in each direction than the old canvas. This is why I can only use parts of the old frame to recycle them. Yo. And because a lot of you already asked me which kind of fabric is it that I use for my canvases, is primed cotton fabric, 330 gram per square meter. Yo. And a 10 meters roll of it is about 160 euros. Okay, the canvas is done, but it is a little bit wobbly. The surface is not that super smooth, and I will show you a little trick. I'll carry the canvas outside because then we can see it better. In this light situation you can see that the canvas looks terrible, and we will fix that super easy just with some water. It's not Febreze Textilerfrischer in there, it's just water. Now we make everything wet. In just a few seconds more. Let's give it 2 minutes and then it will be beautiful. Smooth like my English pronunciation. Okay, it's officially smooth. Smoother than this is not possible at all. I found this stencil and I really would love to work with this pattern in the background. So this is the first decision that we make now. We will use this nice stencil as a background. And the idea is that, I don't know if this works, but it would be so cool if this was one layer and there would be some parts in front of this layer and some parts behind the layer. And there is the graffiti piece in front of it. Oh yeah! There's something happening. Something is happening. Something is happening. And I wish that the process of finding ideas would be such a smooth process like building a frame, but it definitely is not. It is not like taking out the iPad and starting to draw perfect ideas. No, it is starting with something, and I was so happy that I at least had the pattern already set as the first idea to start building on top of it, like you would start with a piece of clay and forming it until it starts to become something. As a second ingredient for the canvas besides the background pattern, I needed a cool Smoe graffiti sketch. And over the last years, I noticed that you don't need to reinvent the wheel over and over again. And I became a big fan of something that I call the mutation method. That means that I scroll through my library of sketches and see which of them inspires me to be the foundation for the next piece I want to paint. And at the end, I found this sketch from 2019 in my digital library, and it is funny because I mutated this sketch already once when I was painting with biatch on my garden wall. So I took this 2.0 version of the first sketch and I improved it, added leaves that are growing out of it, was really struggling to find a nice composition with the character and with the idea that there's something in front and something behind the pattern. But at the end, I was so happy that I printed it. But let me tell you what really changed in these three versions. I know many of you can't even read what is standing there. S-M-O-E. My name is Smoe. I paint Smoe for the last 21 years. I'm painting Smoe, and ever since I tried to improve my letters. In the 2.0 version, the whole piece got more dynamic and all letters are thinner. I reduced the bubbles, removed the cracks, found a more interesting solution for the M and O slicing, with the right leg in the hole of O. I added a better ending to the O and drastically changed the left leg of M, which all caused a better dynamic. Not talking about the 3D effects. The 3.0 version flows even more. The two lids are gone, the slicing between M and O is improved even more, all extensions are longer, and the arrow that once grew out of O now grows out of M. Okay, plus I added these leaf elements. It may not be obvious, but these details, these kind of things that nearly nobody understands anymore, that is what makes me happy to the moon and back. Whatever. We start now. We go down into the workshop and start with the first layer of colors.
Oh, oh, oh.
The colors for the background. And there we directly have the first difference. I went with a much lighter color scheme in the background than in the design. But I think this was a good decision. And here you can see me cutting the stencils for the planets. Both planets have the light source on the top left side. And to give the planets more structure, I put some tiny stones on it, which brings such a natural structure to the planets. The bigger planet gets some clouds, and then I already start with the stencil. I'm super happy how this turned out because the one planet is in front of the pattern while the other planet is behind the pattern. And even if I always had to stitch the single stencils together, it is a very, very good pattern. The only place that I think is a little bit annoying is over there because it's too blurry in my opinion. But we're lucky. I will have to paint some mountains over there. So let's do this as the next step.
Oh yeah. Oh, ha, oh.
You need the palette pouring.
A slightly little bit of turquoise, titanium white, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, and burnt umber. So these three
will be the rock colors. This is the snow at the light side, and this is the snow at the shadow side. And I have to admit that it helps me a lot to start with something that has a random shape, like a mountain. You can't paint mountains wrong that easy. It's a great warm-up. I think I even want a little bit of the yellow ochre in the... Oh, this is so much better.
Don't eat yellow snow.
Before I start to go into detail, it is always important for me to fill in the bigger spaces, to block in some colors, so that I got a foundation for the fine details. As I already set the light source with the planets, that the light comes from the left upper corner. Of course, all the mountains have the light side on the left side and the shadow side on the right side.
Next step. Let's paint some happy little trees. The overall look is extremely good, but now I need to put the first lines for my graffiti piece in there that will be here, and I think I will do it tomorrow. I don't feel now I don't feel like I can do it properly, and I can't sleep very well after this result, because this already looks insane in my opinion. It is absolutely weird, and this is what I wanted to create. I will sleep about these ideas, and we see us tomorrow. The next day. It's beautiful outside and I'm painting inside. Okay, because I'm a little bit afraid to mess up the proportions of the graffiti piece, I will put this stencil paper, it's sticking, it's a sticky stencil paper, I will put it on the canvas so that I can sketch the first lines on it without having any fear that I have to remove, because I can't make any mistakes on this brilliant pattern in the background. So yeah, let's put some stencil paper on it and try to paint the whole graffiti piece today. I'm super happy with the piece itself, but it needs to be lifted a little bit upwards. It's too much down.
And if you ask yourself why I put some tapes at the side of the canvas, I put these tapes at the outside of the canvas as boundary lines. The canvas that I paint is 15 centimeters wider in each direction than the final artwork, because when they fold it around the stretcher in Canada, the sides will be painted as well. So I paint 15 centimeters bigger, and I want to adjust the sketch in the middle of the final canvas, and the tape helps me to see the size of the final canvas. This already was pretty dangerous, but now I need to cut holes everywhere where the letters are, so that I can spray paint the fill-in of the letters directly on the canvas and do the outlines with the brush later. Yeah. Before removing the stencil paper, I applied these two adjusting points so that I can find the perfect position for the stencil. You need a little bit of patience for such a stencil, but it's definitely worth it, because On this way, you won't destroy your beautiful background. After covering everything very carefully, I put an undercoating in white in the fill-in because it will make the fill-in afterwards shine so much more. I went with Montana Black Masala. I faded some Poison Light from the Montana Gold series into it. And one of my favorite colors, Malachite, gives this 3 colors fading the special twist. This was by far the most complicated fill-in that I've ever done. And it's just a stupid fading. But I got the feeling that nothing can go wrong anymore. Next step will be the outlines. I've chosen these 3 acrylic markers from Montana cans. Shock Brown Dark will be the darkest color. Royal Red, Shock Red and Fire Red as the highlights. This is the gradient. I will start with this color here with Royal Red for the outlines. Yo, and I have to admit that painting outlines on a canvas, it is not such an enjoyable process like painting outlines on a wall. On a wall, it is smooth, it is fun, it is fast, it looks cool. With painting outlines on a canvas, yeah, it's a challenge for your patience, definitely, I would say. And you always have to be careful that you don't smudge the still wet outlines with the palm of your hand. While at some points it is pretty helpful that you can smudge the paint together, especially if you want to have nice fadings. Like here at the shadow, I use a dry brush to smudge them together and it looks pretty cool. I would have done this in real size with a spray can 10 times in this time, but this is the problem when you paint canvases. You need so much patience. I'm a very, very patient person. Really. But I'm always dying painting canvases with all these fine details. But at the end, it's worth to go through the pain and mastering this patience challenge. Day 3 is over. I didn't make it completely, but I'm pretty happy with the style. It's so clean. But I want to add all these tiny details everywhere, light reflections. I think there are still about 3 hours of work necessary to complete the super flowish graffiti piece, and then I can finally start sketching the character over there. Oh man, I'm happy with it. I'm so happy. This is such a weird combination. So weird. Brilliant. Okay, see you tomorrow. The 4th day started pretty promising, to be honest. I really thought that I have only 3 hours of details in front of me. I even found the time to do these super fancy slider shots, and I didn't really notice how much I was running out of power. And yeah, by the middle of the day, I already thought, holy crap. I thought it's just 3 hours. Now I'm already painting 7 hours, and I'm still not done with the style. And now comes a little rant. I just didn't want to cut it out because I wanted to be honest to you.
feel bad. I feel so bad. Painting an artwork is always such an emotional process. It starts with the fear of beginning. The fear of the beginning. Once you've overcome it and you started to bring the first color to the canvas, it's like the first high. It's an euphoria of, yeah, I managed it, now I start, and now my concept is great, and I see a lot of progress, and you start with this emotional level, then it goes up, then you continue painting. You hold the level, like, oh yeah, I'm the cool artist and everything, and I got a good feeling about the artwork. And then when you paint all the fine details, and it is so slow and it is so much work, and you got the feeling like time is running away, you need to finish the artwork, and then there's always the point when you are at the bottom. I think this is necessary to have this high at the end when you finish the artwork. But I got the feeling like I haven't painted anything today. It's already the end of day 4. I think that I can still paint 2 hours or something, and then I will be totally exhausted. But recently, right at this moment, I want to finish it. I'm afraid to mess it up. And it's a mixture of being exhausted, expectations, being impatient, and being exhausted. It's so stressful for me right now. I love the mountains. I love the style, but somehow the canvas is not talking to me at this moment. It's not telling me if the graffiti piece needs more details or if there is already too much detail. It's like I'm afraid to overstyle it. Fear. Please write down in the comments if you have these feelings as well. Painting an artwork, painting a canvas is always like, painting canvas is always such a pressure for me. Painting walls is so much easier. I will not talk that much. Voice over Smoe will make it for me. Because it's so hard. It's so hard. So hard. I can't even say what is so hard. It's not the painting process. It's an emotional problem. Sometimes I think all my videos always have to be funny, and I don't want to share my negative emotions that I also have, like fear and doubts and but I think it's part of the process. It has to be hard, otherwise it would be easy. This is something that I like to say, but it does not help me at all in the moment when it's so hard. I would... If somebody would come to me right at this moment and tell me, Smoe, it has to be hard, otherwise it would be easy, I would just say, shut off. Shut off, idiot. Go away. Leave me alone with my sadness. Leave me alone. I'm sad now. I'm tired. I'm annoyed. I want to be faster. We need to go through this. This has to become a masterpiece. This has to become a masterpiece. And there's still some weight missing on this side. Oh, this was great. It was great to talk to you. Now I feel even better.
I think that painting low is something pretty normal, and I just wanted to document that, just to show that it is not everything easy, fast, and I just paint one artwork and the next one right afterwards like it is nothing for me. Yes, it is hard. Yes, it is challenging, but stopping in the painting low is definitely the worst thing you can do. You need to go through this, push through this low, and you need to trust the process, trust yourself that you managed it hundreds of times before and you will manage it this time again. I've already put so much love and energy in this artwork, it just deserves it to be finished and let free in the world. The painting low, it is always there, sometimes nearly not noticeable, sometimes challenging you like heavy weights pulling you back, holding you back from continuing. I try to put all my heart into everything that I paint, and sometimes I think I put so much love and attention and brain energy in an artwork that the storage just gets empty. But I just can't paint worse or with less attention, with less love. So even if it is uncomfortable, but I keep pushing through it because I know it will be worth it at the end. Painting isn't always fun, especially when you push yourself to the limits. It is hard mental work. It took me 7 days to finish this beauty. It was a fight, but I made it.
Okay, finally, we are done. The hardest of all canvases that I've ever painted is finally done. I'm super happy. I could not be more happy at this moment. I hope that you enjoyed a little bit to see me suffering. Maybe this is useful for you to see that other artists probably have the same problems like you have. Problems with starting, problems with continuing, doubts, and maybe too much perfectionism. And I know that you want to see it. This is the final result. Yo, and if you want such a high quality, museum quality gigle print for your home, please check out smonova.de/shop. Link is in the video description, and get yourself such a beauty for your wall. They all will be signed and numbered, and you can order them the next 10 days, and after that they will never be available anymore. So use this opportunity. There's even the canvas structure in the print. It's so high quality, it's insane. Yo! check out my shop.
And I hope that you were a little bit entertained and we see us in the next project. And don't forget to like the subscribe button.
Good art has to be in a stable box. It's my last ceremony until I leave my baby and send it away and probably see it never again. Goodbye. Goodbye, my cutie.